Greetings, heroes and Force users of all ages, and welcome back to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom in person.
No, this is all done with AI.
This is brought to you by Apple Vision Plus. Today we are talking Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the newest animated offering from Sony Studios in conjunction with Marvel. It was directed by Joaquim Dos Santos, Kemp Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. It was written by Phil Lord, Christopher Miller, and Dave Callum. And by God, we're Spider-Man fans?
Correct.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron Man.
I thought they smelled bad. On the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
Hello.
Hi. We're in the same place.
Yeah, by the magic of AI and Apple's
And
new
gay dreamcoat contracts. We're all here.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, it's a miracle. It's been since
It's been.
yeah, it's been
6 years since you looked at me.
it's been very long.
January 2022,
yeah,
since we
it's a
recorded
while ago.
together.
It's
Are you
our
serious?
yeah.
It was the Harry Potter special. It
2022.
We hate each other. That
was the beginning
much.
of last year.
Whoa. Well, not only are we together, we got to see this
we're
movie
gay. Oh, sorry.
together.
Well,
And believe it or not, he's gay.
Well,
I'm sorry.
it
No,
happened.
he's blind.
He's blind.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up that YouTube
no,
video.
don't. Just.
Nope, you have to. Yeah, so we got to see this movie together yesterday.
I'm really happy we got to see it together.
Mm.
I
Yes.
mean, obviously for numerous reasons, but it's always nice when like the movie's like actually good.
Yeah. Okay, well, are we just doing this thing? Are we going right into the movie?
Oh no, I want to know how you're doing. I don't know you anymore.
Oh yeah,
because
we
it's been
haven't
a long
had
time.
I haven't done an episode in
A month?
a month.
A whole month.
So sorry everybody if you're like wondering what happened.
Yeah,
All three of you.
We're actors.
yeah, well,
Yeah, the
Get
two of
over
them-
it.
The two of them are doing a play.
real gay play.
They're doing a play together.
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat playing at the La Mirada Performing Arts Center
Uh-huh.
until the 25th of June. Come and see us.
So if you're in Southern California,
You can come see
Yeah,
them.
come and see.
Be biblical brothers.
It's
in the biblical sense.
yeah. It's very historically accurate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like not at all. But yeah, we've been that's been that, and then I before that I was in actual BFE.
You were in Egypt.
I was in Egypt. Crazy. Just for a
Did
vacation
you like
time.
it?
It was really cool. Yeah, it was awesome. I became Moon Knight and came back and yeah, it's really fun.
Oh my god.
That'd be
Yeah.
horrifying if you were Moon Knight.
Right, like halfway through this, he just like blacks out.
He's
But
just-
like, wouldn't
he's
that
just
make
standing-
sense though? Kind of too. I mean, like,
Standing over my bed, just he goes to Egypt once and now he's Moon Knight.
yeah, this is like the
You
know,
wake up, we're all Maggie,
Just
Dino, and
dead.
I are dead.
Just blood
Bloodied
everywhere.
all over your house.
No.
And
Well.
yeah, you had tied yourself to your bed.
God, jeez. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I forgot how dark that show was.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, vacation was awesome. And nobody got murdered, thank God.
Oh, boring.
I know, womp womp.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
but it's been a long time.
Uh-huh.
I missed you guys.
Missed you too. We are just making sure. Yeah,
Yep,
everything's
yep,
good.
we're fine.
Still recording.
We're still recording, thank God.
It's just that
Yeah, we're not used to being together. We
No.
have our setup at home very down.
Very
but
down.
Not here.
Right.
how are you, Alyssa? What's
I'm
new?
Good.
Are you still a lesbian?
I
Is that still a
am.
thing?
Yeah, didn't grow out of it yet.
Okay,
Well,
happy Pride.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
I'm praying for you.
the
Pride Month, everyone.
Praying the gay away didn't work still.
I'm trying my hardest on your behalf. So
Thank you. That's so
Praying your
thoughtful.
gay away.
yeah,
Yeah,
I,
obviously.
I prayed Alyssa's gay away.
Obviously.
I did it, everyone,
Congratulations.
He did it.
He did what all the therapists at my college couldn't do.
and I
for
did
me.
it for free.
Wow, such a good friend.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm good. All the
Despite all that.
despite Dino praying my K away. Yeah, I'm good. All the stuff that I'm in at the theme parks all opened the same week this year, so I haven't really had much sleep.
Yeah, again, if you're in
while.
Southern California and you happen to be in a theme park, you will see
probably
Alyssa
will
Simmons.
probably run into me somewhere.
Yes, no doubt.
But tomorrow, once tomorrow is over, then everything that I'm doing this summer will be open.
Wow.
Huzzah.
So that
And you will never
be fun.
stop being there.
Yeah, I mean, it's
until the end of the summer.
Yeah. yeah. I'm gonna be all over the place.
Excellent.
And I'm working on 2 audiobooks.
Oh my god.
That's that.
Oh my god.
How about you, Dino? Are you happy to be back in California for a hot second?
I'm happy to be back. I'm staying here. This is actually my bedroom you're in
Yes,
right
correct. Yeah.
Inside Dino's bedroom.
It's
Daniel's
converted
office.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm super happy to be back. It was fortuitous that Daniel and I ended up in the same
Show.
production
Kind of amazing.
of Joseph. And it's like everything and nothing has changed.
Oh,
right.
okay.
I
Yeah.
still have a lot of gas, and he just has to deal with it.
He's still lactose intolerant.
And I still drink
Still
it.
and
eat
he's
cheese.
still
It is
to the
what it is,
detriment of Maggie and I.
Maggie hates
Oh yeah,
it.
Mags is here too. She finally calmed down.
You know, actually, it's funny. I think it's because she's my child, but my brothers had their dogs, and they were actually like deathly afraid of farts. Like even the smallest squeak, they
What
would
would they do?
they would run and go into the closet and hide behind all the clothes, be shaking. So sad. I was like, why are you so scared of farts? I don't know. Anyway.
Something
Very
really
curious.
awful. They died in a fart accident in their previous life.
Yeah, definitely.
Of a fart attack. They died.
Okay.
That will be how I die.
It will.
Actually, of a fart attack.
Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can see we all have these cute little Tauntaun tikis.
I know we're not selling them. We should be, though.
No, but if anybody wants them, get them on Wayfair. You can also be in our
Wayfair, you just
Tauntaun
got
Tiki
me.
Club.
We're also not sponsored by Wayfair, but cheers.
But we will be sponsored by anyone.
Come on, please. Let us be sponsored.
Somebody, please.
Just hand us money.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I guess we should get into this
Fine.
movie.
I liked it.
Yeah,
It's
generals.
over.
Oh, that's your general? Whoa. Okay, move on quickly.
Yeah, it's
before-
probably
yeah.
smart. It's probably smart. But
Okay,
no,
generals?
I guess generally.
Okay, it's fine.
Oh, God.
Okay, here we
All
go.
right, okay, generally.
No, I guess the biggest surprise for me, and probably for most people, is that this is part 1. I don't know if was I the only person that was confused
Well,
by that?
I don't think it's a part 1.
part
It's
three-
it's a
part
part
two.
2 and maybe a trilogy.
Well, I mean, because the first one was a very complete story, I thought, and then it had a post trailer teaser was just
Yeah,
fairly
sure.
common.
Yeah.
This felt like it stopped right in the middle of the story.
Yeah, I
which
mean,
feels,
we got a legitimate
Yes.
to be continued.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
that-
I
this
feel
was
like
part 1 of a.
It's
of
like
a two-part.
Empire Strikes Back in that way, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. No beginning and no end. Yeah.
I knew that they had plans for a third.
Oh, you did.
So I was expecting to end on a bit of a cliffhanger.
She always knows the lesbians.
My
Always
lesbo
know.
spidey sense.
That's the noise it makes.
Yeah. Okay, so you were surprised by the part.
Yeah.
part 1 / part
extremely
2.
surprised. I mean, it was like we were getting, because I looked at my watch. I was like, I mean, the movie zipped along. It wasn't looking at my watch, but oh, when is this going to be over? I was just going it just felt like it, there was it was so climactic. I was like, how are they going to top this? I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, this movie's almost over.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this is going to be a 2-part. Oh my god. Yeah. So that was sort of the my emotional roller coaster ride.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Dino, generals.
Generals. The art direction blows
Oh
my
my
mind.
gosh.
I mean, I
It's got to be the coolest looking animated movie.
and I felt that way about the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
and
how
we
you-
never we'd never talked about the first one on this
We
podcast.
didn't.
Well,
Oh.
because it came out in 2018.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
right.
been
It's- yeah,
If there wasn't a
we've brought
pandemic.
it up, but we haven't covered it.
yeah, that's true.
That's correct.
And I wish. Well, honestly, I wish we had a podcast at the time the first one came out, because it is so. This movie is so instructive on how to deal with the multiverse. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Well, and also I think it's like I don't know. It kind of has revolutionized animation. It was a pretty pivotal film. I
Yeah.
think.
So I'm going to highlight a couple names. A few names. Production designer was Patrick O'Keefe, and the art
Mhm.
direction was Dean Gordon. And
Why do I recognize the name Patrick O'Keefe, Dino? Why?
Do
I
you
said
know
it.
why, or is that like
Are
a
you just
rhetorical-
being?
Am I crazy? Is that am I getting my names mixed up? Because I feel like there's
Yeah.
like O'Keefe in like musical theater too. Am I?
Oh,
Well,
he's not-
again, you're asking the wrong person.
I don't
but,
know
Yeah.
who either of the O'Keefe.
But so
Just
the-
keep talking. Keep
the-
talking.
well, I'm trying to.
if you would just let
If you would
Would
just
you
let
just start
me.
talking?
So the production production design was done by Patrick O'Keefe, and then the art direction was Dean Gordon and Araz Khalid.
Mhm.
And what's so striking, I think, about this animation style in particular is not only that it, through the convention of the multiverse, jumps to different animation styles, but how it's so in tune with when the characters emote.
Yeah.
That the entire environment changes, and I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The scene that's coming to my mind, and we're jumping
I know
around
exactly what
here,
you're going to talk about.
is when when Gwen finally talks to her
Dad.
I knew it.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh! So
With the
if
watercolors.
it looked like watercolors like weeping
Yeah.
in the background of the scene. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like what?
It was such a perfect marriage of emotion, like visuals, music, all the things. It
Yeah.
just
every
everything
element
matched.
was working so well together.
like a perfect symphony.
But kind of going back to the original. What? Go for it.
It's the writer of Bat Boy. That it's Lawrence.
I
O'Keefe.
I
Oh,
wouldn't.
non-related.
I wouldn't have
Alright,
known
well.
that.
Not related.
Hold me, Bat Boy.
Oh,
Touch me,
God.
Bat Boy. Oh, there it is. We
Please
did it.
don't, Bad Boy. Please get away from me,
I
Bad
beg
Boy.
of you, Bat
Ask
Boy.
for consent, Bat Boy.
Yeah. Don't look at me, Bad Boy.
It is one of my favorite musicals of all time. If you've never seen it,
It's a good one.
yeah. Anyways,
But this movie coming out before even the conclusion of the Infinity Saga in Marvel Studios, and
Yeah.
it should be noted for more casual listeners. So I think there's a lot of casual confusion about what Sony's doing with Spider-Man and how it ties in with Marvel Studios. So
that would have been another great title for our podcast, Casual Confusion.
the Daniel Dawson story.
Casual Confusion sounds like an improv team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be my.
I saw them
spin-off
at
right there.
Coachella.
My spin-off.
They were headlining Coachella.
Yeah.
But Sony owns at least partially the rights to Spider-Man,
Right.
and they've given Marvel Studios permission to use Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's why you see some overlap.
Mhm.
And I thought it would have. The reason it would have been so good to have had this podcast
Yeah.
way back then is because it was giving us the blueprint
Sure.
for what Marvel Studios is now attempting to do with Phase 4.
Totally.
Mhm.
And not as well. Like in my
Well, with
opinion.
mixed,
Yes.
with mixed
Yes.
results, because they're trying to tackle a lot at one time, and Spider-Man has the benefit. This movie and its predecessor have the benefit of being just about this Spider-Verse within that multiverse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you remember, there's a scene in this movie where they use the Marvel Studios imagery of
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
what
use that timeline,
what the
that
timeline looks
blue
like,
timeline.
but then they
Yeah.
go to great pains to
Make their own.
then explain this Spider-Verse, quote unquote, that exists within
the
this
multiverse.
timeline.
And they also there's some verbiage too that they're changing, which I think is cool. And it sounds more comic booky too, which is fun. Like instead of in like the Marvel films.
It's the timeline versus the canon.
For instance, like in the What If series, where they what did they call it in What If, the moments where like this has to happen and happens.
Nexus.
Fixed points.
Is it fixed points?
Yeah,
is that right?
Was that Nexus event?
Nexus event?
I mean, there's
They're
Nexus
both- they're
beings,
both
but I mean,
Kind of the same thing,
yeah.
but now we're using the term canon, which is like for nerd folk like us is like it's not canon. That's I like that. It makes
Yeah,
it feel.
I think fixed points was a term that we in MCU in particular
Tony Stark dying is
they brought up in What If and Loki.
And Loki.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yeah, the fixed points.
Yep.
Which DC uses that same terminology.
Sure.
Oh, they
Fixed
do.
points.
Oh, interesting.
But that's where I am generally, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Before we dive in.
I thought it was so fun, just visually stunning to look at from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fun character growth with both Gwen Stacy and Miles, obviously, and thrilled that we got to see a pregnant superhero.
Yeah, right.
That's exciting.
Freaking cool as hell.
Yeah, it
is that comic book accurate
yes.
too?
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yes, but
so great.
that's a whole storyline in Spider-Woman comics, her Spider-Woman comics.
Mm-hmm. She's dope.
But yeah, I think the thing that I love the most about the first movie, Into the Spider-Verse,
Yes.
and Across the Spider-Verse, is it really does an amazing job at setting up kind of what a multiverse is.
Mm-hmm.
In I think for me, as a comic book reader, these movies do it in a very digestible way.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of and this is a conversation for another time, it's very difficult to be a casual Marvel fan anymore.
Yeah.
You're absolutely. My parents are, I think,
Oh,
perfect example. We got through all 24 or 23 of the Infinity Saga, and I feel like now
Did they tap out?
I think they've tapped out.
Yeah, that's a lot. And if you're not someone who is reading a lot of books and watching every property that comes out, it's really tricky to be a casual fan.
Well, yeah, especially now that back in the day we were getting like a movie a year,
Sure.
but now we're getting movies
Or
and
3.
TV
We
shows.
were getting 2 to 3, but we didn't have the Disney Plus wasn't
thing.
didn't show up until a year after.
Yeah, so
So
I
lots of
almost
content.
wish that this movie would have come out prior to Doctor Strange, The
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness.
Kind of same.
Because I think if you are a casual Marvel fan, you're like, yeah, I like the Doctor Strange character. Oh, most everyone likes Spider-Man.
Yeah,
So like, even if like the animation thing is not
he is very
your
universally liked.
if
Yeah.
you were to watch the one scene from this movie where Miguel explains,
breaks it down.
what canon is, what the multiverse is, and what all the spider people have to do with keeping everything intact in their specific,
Verse.
I don't know. I found it very digestible.
Like
in
you said,
that
it's
way.
a Spider-Verse. He's like, that sounds
And I think the
stupid.
closest explanation we've gotten a few, be it in Endgame or Loki, or there have been several attempts to kind of condense it all into a few lines of dialogue. I feel like the Sorcerer Supreme explaining to Bruce Banner what happens when, but that's just as far as the Infinity Stones go.
True.
But giving a very short, concise snippet of it. But I agree with you. I think this movie.
Yeah, I think they
I'm
did a
starting
great.
to blow my mind a little bit again, because remind me again.
Blow your own mind.
Oh, yeah,
Congratulations.
I did. Blow me. Did you? Can you remind me?
No.
Because in that scene particularly you were talking about, like they're talking about timelines, and in Loki they talk about timelines, but are timelines also different universes, or are they timelines within the
Timelines
one
within-
universe?
So this question in and of itself is a perfect example of
Of the
Confusion.
We're right.
Yeah.
I'm not digging you.
So in all the different universes
Yes.
within the multiverse,
Yes.
each of those has their own timeline.
Right.
So I think and nerds yell if I'm wrong. I think in Loki in particular, the timeline they're talking about is like the universal timeline, right? So that technically,
it's the sacred timeline.
The sacred timeline.
But it's Kang. It was Kang's way of wiping out the other timelines,
right?
And making just
that
one.
There's only one canon,
right?
And the reason that they're justifying all of these other multiversal counterparts coming out now is because the timeline broken.
Yeah,
right?
Because all of what happened in Loki.
So honestly, for those of you at home, if you're looking for the convergence of Marvel Studios and Sony, I mean, it's already happened with the live action Spider-Man movies, but it's really directly a result of what happened in Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man, No Way Home.
No Way Home. Yeah.
The timeline broke, and Loki too, by killing He Who Remains. That's what this is a result of.
He who did remain. Am I right? He's dead now.
And he's everywhere at the same time.
That's right.
But yeah, so anyways, think that they did a great job with that.
Mm-hmm.
It did also
You guys described it, by the way, and I'm still confused.
Okay.
A little bit.
Well, I don't know how to help you.
I know. I feel like I'll get there eventually. I think maybe when the second season of Loki comes out, they'll
I think
kind
what
of
needs to happen, and I'll like draw it for you on. If you read a couple of different, like, if we're just using Spider-Man as an example.
Yes.
If you read like 3 different Spider-Man books that were all taking place on different Earths.
Yes.
I think that it would become more clear to
I
you.
think so too. I think that because, like, for instance, you were in Infinity War, well, just Infinity War in general. So when they took the Infinity Stones back, they were creating new timelines within that one universe, or they're creating brand new universes by doing that.
Well, so when they did that, the idea was to go back and, as Cap put it, clip the branches. So they did it without being detected. So when you put the stones back exactly where you took them from without anyone realizing it happened,
as if it didn't.
that branch doesn't exist any longer.
But then the one that Loki got away.
And that's why the TVA shows up. And it's like, you have broken, to use the Spider-Man phraseology, canon.
The canon.
Yeah. Yes. So in that essence, was he worried that because him doing that, it would have completely destroyed that universe, basically? Is that...
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially. Okay, yeah. Because it didn't really quite get into that in Loki as much.
Right, but we got into that in this Spider-Man movie.
And also Doctor Strange. Kinda.
Yes, with Miguel in particular saying that he went into another Earth and replaced his counterpart.
Yes.
And then that whole entire Earth disintegrated.
How sad.
And the imagery in these movies of a Spider-Man not from that universe, or trying to exist in a universe it's not from, is the glitching. I think is it's
cool.
Yeah, it's a really surreal and excellent way of depicting that kind of confusing theory of dimension hopping, or universe hopping rather.
I guess the only that's not unfortunate, and it's only like they didn't use the same kind of imagery in the Spider-Man No Way Home, because that technically should have happened there too.
With the glitching,
right,
yeah.
Unless we don't know that those other Peter Parkers had bracelets on. And
oh my God!
They were fine to be there.
Yeah, we just have to fill in.
But also, what Sony...
We're Dave Filoni. We are
yes,
Dave
we
Filoni.
will fix it. We'll fix it.
But what Sony has done so well, which is, I have to give them credit, because for a long time and rather recently, they haven't necessarily been the best stewards.
Morbius was a wonderful film.
But to bring up Morbius, the explanation of having what's his face, Michael Keaton,
Michael Keaton.
Oh, what the Vulture?
Having Vulture show up in Morbius's universe.
Uh-huh.
That explanation was kind of given to us.
Yeah.
In this movie.
Yeah.
It was. You're right.
and they're using it to kind of soften the harsh edges of their storytelling. And I appreciate. I was like, I buy it.
Okay, I'll take that.
I buy it.
Yeah.
But going on the just the tonality of the film. I think when you're talking about multiverses, because it can get absolutely ridiculous. The tone of it, like, I mean, yes, it has the serious moments, which gives the movie heart, and that's what's so important, I think, and that's what separates this from, like, The Men from the Boys, is that it has so much heart. But, like, the tonality of explaining the multiverse is very tongue-in-cheek and kind of like, yeah, this happens and this happens, and there's a pig, and then there's a cat.
And it's like this is just weird, move on. Yeah.
I think that, like, not taking it so seriously helps us kind of be like, okay, yeah, we're on for the ride. That's fun.
Of course. And the thing that's like insane, because like the idea of the multiverse in Marvel in particular was introduced in the 50s.
Yeah.
Like that's how long this like idea of a multiverse has been going on.
It's pretty wild.
Because there are, all these nerds were like, I love this character. How would it look
if it were a pig?
Were in a different, there are these fixed points, but like it's somewhat in a different environment. Mm-hmm. There's like, it's a really fascinating and fun thing that they do in comic books, and now we're seeing a ton of it in these Marvel properties because the concept of the multiverse has been brought up. It did make me bummed because it was just so fun to see all these different spider people.
Yes.
It did make me bummed about Doctor Strange, and I've thought about that multiple times, and I know
the movie stuff, the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of
Madness.
Yeah,
because how cool would it have been to see other Doctor Stranges?
Totally. Well, I mean,
not Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange. I'm talking about different actors.
Just complete different actors.
I'm talking about different actors and...
Yeah. Which is interesting you bring that up. I mean, this is weird kind of doing this, but, in the... because I don't think we've talked about this on... Well, we may have, about the Kang situation.
Oh no.
We have not talked about it, really.
No, but the... with Jonathan Majors' alleged transgressions, would that possibly move Marvel to remove him? And there are rumors circulating that, if he were to be replaced, it would kind of make sense.
Sure, they could easily justify it,
and
very
somebody
easily.
Just go the Spider-Verse route and just have a million different people
Sure.
play him, and it would be
well. And forgive me for not. I don't remember.
Just pick the favorite one for the Kang dynasty.
I don't remember.
movie,
Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
But I don't remember the actor's name. But who played High Evolutionary in?
Oh, he was dope.
He's great.
Somebody suggested,
what is his name?
what if High Evolutionary
Is
was
a
a
Kang
Kang variant?
Yeah, I
I was
love
like, well, there's your
Honestly,
fix.
That
Because that guy,
that guy's freaking.
it fits.
I'm
I'll look
blanking
up
on
his
his name.
name.
Thank you.
I'll buy it. I'll buy it.
But I think this movie does a great job of demonstrating that works.
Yes,
And it's remarkable because they all feel like Spider-Man.
yeah, totally, yeah.
His name is Chukwudi Iwuji.
Wow,
And
I would not.
He's a British
he
theater
is-
actor.
Yeah, he's mostly a stage actor.
He's
and
a-
he is so great, and I loved
like
him
on the
in-
Broadway. Oh no, he would be
On
on
the-
the
Loved
West
him
End,
in
right?
it.
National Theater of London. Yeah.
That
Loved
makes
him in
sense.
Guardians.
Oh,
That's our
it's
Guardians
so
review.
Good. Oh yeah,
Yeah, right.
That was it. It was great.
was
It
shoehorned
really
in
was
it.
great.
It was great.
But I would absolutely buy that idea of
Sure, let's put our boy Jonathan Boyega in a movie.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I don't think that there's any, because the thing is, within the comics, just like we saw in this Spider-Verse movie,
Mhm.
there are Peter Parkers that look like one another as well.
yeah, sure.
There are Peter
Right.
Parkers that look like one
If
another.
there's infinite
but
number,
then there are some that you
Yeah.
know are a cat, and some that are
well, and they even showed that with the Council of Kangs at the end of
Yes. at the
Yeah.
end of
So yes, most
Ant-Man.
of them looked like Jonathan Majors, but you had a Skrull one. You had there were a couple other.
It's very
Well-
thankfully in this situation,
It is.
it's a very easily justifiable.
It is
casting
interesting because
swap.
we kind of went. We've gone both directions with a lot of different. And Loki went the Spider-Verse route where they just did because you had
Yeah,
alligator
yeah, that-
Loki,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
had
Of
the,
course.
like old man
Sylvie
Loki.
is technically a variant of Loki. So,
Yeah.
yep.
I think I think for my money it works better, and for like Marvel's purposes, like it's very risky putting all of your your eggs in one basket and like literally like placing an entire like however many like 4 to 6
But I mean,
years.
we've
of
talked about
films
this.
on one
They
person.
did
It's
this
like-
with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
though,
Yeah,
They
that's
did.
fair.
and he was now he never did anything that
No.
Jonathan Majors was accused of.
Yes.
He didn't. He was hurting himself.
yeah,
And
right.
but it's not so much that it's I think the idea I thought it was a really cool idea to give this one actor
Oh,
a
yeah.
mechanism
It's an
to
actor's dream.
And
play different versions
he
of
is
himself, and he's
an
very
amazing
good.
actor.
So
He
good.
is, but like,
And we're not
I
saying
just-
he's done yet because we
Yeah.
don't
Everything-
know.
Because he's apparently he's going to trial. I think
'Cause-
this month.
It's Disney.
Yeah,
He's
we-
a liability.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
not-
we
he's
don't
not.
know what we don't
It's
know.
just, like,
Sorry.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't see a path. For
I don't.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if like he is scotch free in the clear
Yeah.
after
We
that
did.
trial,
I mean, we
they're like, no, all of these women were lying.
Yeah, it's not even just
No.
one
Right.
person.
I
It's
just-
like,
I
no,
think-
and I'm not speaking
yeah.
to
It's
that. It's
unfortunate.
like we just don't know what we don't know.
oh my god,
Um,
Dino, you just you're so bad.
He's trying to
I-
play my gay away, and
Yeah.
now he's
Now he's
an abuser
Ah,
sympathizer.
jeez.
and it comes in threes. So what's the third one?
No, but I think I agree with what you're saying as well.
Mhm.
Like, it would be really fun to see him inhabit all of these different versions of Kang.
Sure.
But I do like how different people can obviously bring different flavors to technically the same like archetype of a character.
Am I crazy? Did I just imagine that in my head? Because I know, like, this movie, I mean, like, and honestly, I think it's a good thing, but, like, it was one of those movies where, like, my eyeballs were burning by the end because I didn't want
Trying
to, I didn't
so
want
hard
to
to pay
blink.
attention.
If I
Yeah.
blinked, I would have missed something because it was so fast paced and, like, which was so fun and it makes you so excited. I was biting my fingernails. But, like, did I imagine, shoot, what's his name? The future Spider-Man, did he say
2099.
Yes. Did he say that he was in cahoots with Kang? Like
No.
Am I crazy? Okay.
No.
Not in cahoots, but like meaning
You're
like
talking about-
Kang gave him like a like
No, there was no direct reference.
No,
but
no reference.
'Cause
but
it-
they're he honestly he has things in common with Kang.
yes, that's
but
kind of
also
my point.
with Thanos and
Well, you're
yeah,
not
a couple
I,
other
well, since we're talking about
Yeah.
Miguel, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I actually
played by
Calendar,
Oscar
2099.
Isaac.
I actually am curious
So-
too. Did you guys like was going into it? Did you kind of were you giving him side eye or were you like, oh, this guy's gonna be a good guy, and you're like,
Oh no,
or, like, what was your
I
thoughts
think I
about
knew
it?
from the beginning he was going to be the villain,
Sure,
Yeah.
but not
like they were like the
Not a-
anti-hero or I don't
yeah.
know.
I mean not to the level of Kang or
Spot on.
Thanos. Yeah.
So
Or Spot.
let's learn a little bit about him in the comics.
Yes, please.
And how
Please and thank you.
we're gonna see him moving forward. So he was created by writer Peter David and artist Rick Leonardi.
Mm-hmm.
And his first appearance, he's working for Alchemax.
Uh-huh.
Which
so
was
that he
Fisk's
can-
Fisk's company in the first.
and Miguel's
one.
goal is to create the powers of Spider-Man. He is
Oh, because it didn't.
This was in the comics.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
so
this is. Did he
he-
already like? Did the powers of? Was he trying to recreate the powers of Spider-Man, or was
Gonna
he
tell
trying?
you.
Oh,
Gonna
thank
tell
you. Oh, I'm so excited! I can't wait.
Originally, it was to cure his addiction to a hallucinogenic drug called Rapture
Oh,
that he was originally tricked into taking, but he's hella addicted.
such a biblical
So
term.
I don't know if you remember that scene in the movie where he shoots himself up in the arm.
Yeah.
That's sort of alluded that that's Rapture.
He's got to get his fix.
So he.
Although it
the
so
thing
that
that makes him different
the rapture doesn't have anything to do with like him being like it's nothing to do with his spider thing.
No. He has an accident and half of his DNA gets reprogrammed to be that of a spider's. He maintains very few of the powers of the original Spider-Man, mostly the strength and agility, but he does not have spider sense.
Oh, interesting.
But he does have like these
That's called a handicap, everybody.
These light sensitive red eyes that he can see in the darkness, and he's got vampire fangs, which they mentioned kind of in the movie.
Oh, just and also he had
the claws.
The claws, yeah.
Yeah, so
I have to ask because it is a Marvel thing. We're getting into that sort of spooky territory, and apparently, allegedly, like it is. I was thinking in my head, werewolf because they remember there was like a flash and like you saw like a shadow of him, and like it was you saw like what looked almost like a wolf head. Am I crazy?
I don't know about that.
In that art, like, and so I was like thinking, like, is he also a werewolf or something?
There's nothing about werewolves in his comic history, but that doesn't mean they couldn't lean into that.
Going into that.
Yeah. So.
And the shot that he's taking has something about like keeping the werewolf at bay or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like the shot is most likely the rapture drug. I mean, that he's still continuing.
Yeah, that checks out. He just he does give off these vibes without me knowing anything about, because I'm an idiot. It kind of gave off the vibe that he's like, I have to do this shot, otherwise because he's I mean, I recovering addict does make sense though, because he's like
unless like literally it's not rapture and it's some Spider-Man power substance that's allowing him to still have his like power and agility.
It makes me feel like it's because he looks like he's got like this rage, and like it's like I would almost believe it to be like something that's like, you know, preventing him from fully going like full rage mode or something.
Guess we'll have to,
because they didn't explain it at all, right? They just like shot it up and then they kind of like went away. Yeah.
And if you were familiar with the comics, you kind of knew what they were winking at.
Yeah.
There's
lots of winks, lots of nods.
So this movie does an amazing job kind of not only introducing us to a ton of different versions of spider people, but kind of morphing it into the day and age that we're in. So Jess Drew, who was Spider-Woman, the pregnant Spider-Woman.
Yes.
In the comics, she's a white woman, and in this movie, she's black,
which is dope,
which is great. But her backstory is pretty interesting, and I think we might be seeing some more of her, possibly in live action form.
Yeah, you already see. Oh, interesting.
So her backstory: she and her family moved to the base of Vundagore Mountain.
Oh, we've heard
Her
about that.
dad is a research partner there, and he works with the man who would eventually become the High Evolutionary.
Oh, wait! I thought we were gonna go Dr. Doom. Isn't
No, that's
what's that other place that I'm thinking of?
I know what you're talking about.
Castle Doom and
Mount Doom
in Latveria.
So, where have we heard Vundagore?
Vundagore Mountain is
Doctor Strange.
Where Wanda.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right.
It all makes
sense. So her story is kind of interested. She becomes like super sick, and they're convinced she's gonna die, and so the only thing that they can do to save her is by injecting her with the blood of several uncommon species of spiders.
Oh, interesting.
So she they keep her like in stasis for decades. And that reminded me a lot of High Evolutionary and Guardians. All that experimentation and stuff. And she's super interesting. I mean, she works for Hydra for a while, and she's like trying to kill Nick Fury.
Oh, wow.
And then she ends up
you can see her already being super conflicted.
She's an Avenger. She's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a while. Then she opens her own private investigator thing, and then she's like best friends with Captain Marvel.
She just doesn't know what she wants.
Yeah, so this is a really interesting character, and I hope to see more of her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's not a matter of.
Oh yeah, I mean,
If
she'll for sure be in the next Spider-Verse movie, but I would love to see her. In
Yeah, do we know the actress that plays the voice?
It's
Issa Rae?
Issa Rae.
Yeah.
Oh, Issa Rae. I'm trying to remember what her face looks like. Does she kind of like look like the character potentially, kind of?
I mean, her hair isn't normally teased out like it is.
sure,
but,
yeah.
but
Yeah, you know what Issa Rae looks like.
I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do.
I'll show you her. Please hold. That's
Oh,
Issa Rae.
showing it.
yeah.
Especially when her
Absolutely.
hair's like that.
Yeah.
She
Oh
absolutely
yeah, I
looks
guess
like her.
so.
Slap some goggles on there, and
Um,
she'd be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, she that would be exciting for her to
That
get
would
to
be
do both.
very cool.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're a big Spider-Man nerd, this movie was truly everything
Oh
for
my
you
God.
because they introduced not introduced, but we got to see on the screen like over 100 different variants of
Blink
Spider-Man.
if you miss it.
So many. Yeah, I'm trying to.
I mean, there was even gameplay footage from the new Miles Morales
Yes.
game
Yes.
in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you were a fan of the Spider-Man games on PlayStation, it's just movies. Just
Yeah, it was just
chock full
synergy.
of
It was just corporate synergy at
thousands
its
of-
finest.
They also kind of I was bummed, but also I kind of was like, oh, this is gonna be like a whole movie. I think the Lego Spider-Man. I was like,
That
oh
was-
my God, give me more of that universe. It's gonna be its own thing. It has to be.
So funny.
It was he's like boop boop.
I was very excited to see baby Mayday
So
Yes.
cute.
Parker.
So cute.
Because she becomes she is the star of the longest running female led comic.
Oh really?
Spider-Girl.
Oh
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah, so Mayday grows up and
Oh,
becomes
that's so
Spider-Girl, and
cute.
it's been running for a very long time.
I'm obsessed with it. And is that canon too, where her dad is like the
yeah,
OG
Peter
Spider-Man? Right? Okay.
Peter B. Parker. Mhm.
Neat.
Which he's voiced by Jake Johnson,
Mhm,
who
yes,
has an
that's great.
unmistakable voice. But
He does, yeah.
I love based on where they left Peter in the last
Uh-huh.
film and where he is now, just the insufferable father.
Look at this picture. Oh my God, isn't he so cute?
And then to
This
have
one's
the
gonna make you
child,
laugh.
yeah, and to have the child amidst just violence and
Uh-huh.
just it's just
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it really
we
is.
already talked
Relatable.
about Spider
Relatable.
Cat and Spider Rex, but all of these are
Spider Rex.
all of these are existing Spider.
Absolutely
characters.
ridiculous.
Um,
Ridiculously wonderful.
got to see. There's a bazillion. Just go online and look at all the hundreds of Easter eggs in this movie. But there
Was
were
there one that stood out to you? Is like, I mean, I know we talked a lot about Spider Cat for sure.
Yeah.
But
I think I was excited to see
Mayday the most.
Mayday. I think I was excited to see in the original cartoon. You guys remember that that they joke about it in this movie. The image of, because they didn't have enough money, I guess, on the budget of the show originally.
Sure.
So there's just this clip of Spider-Man swinging back and forth.
Oh, uh-huh.
And on the cartoon, they would play it for almost every transition because they were like, we don't have anything else to
Oh my
play.
God, this'll work.
So that really made me giggle.
Mm-hmm.
the Tyrannosaurus Rex,
Wonderful.
Yeah,
I mean,
Spider Rex was
Spider
great.
Rex, yeah.
I liked the
And I wasn't familiar with a ton of them, so that
there's-
sequence in the movie in particular where
Mhm.
2099 sicks them all on Miles, it was like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
We
oh
obviously
my
saw
god.
Andrew Garfield. We
Yes.
saw Tobey Maguire.
So interesting.
We were just talking about this last
Yeah, we were
night.
talking about it last night. So Phil Lord and Christopher Miller had mentioned that they had done storyboard work for entire live action sequences that they decided to cut because they thought it was too much, and
Which I think is what
it took the movie a step.
already?
Took the movie a step too far in terms of.
Sure.
But
Well, because we've got Danny Glover like in live action,
right,
all
Aaron
of a sudden.
Davis,
Uh-huh.
who
It's
was
like,
introduced in the first Marvel Spider-Man movie, Marvel Studios Spider-Man movie. That you know what though, if I had a prediction going into the movie, I was like, we're gonna see Tobey Maguire and
Yeah,
Oh,
Andrew,
yeah.
but
It's Tom Holland.
and Tom Holland
And
as well.
that was one that I was the most surprised that wasn't in it, because
I'm
I was like, I could have put money down on it. I was like, oh, we're gonna see Tom Holland, but he wasn't there. So I'm wondering if that ended up on the cutting room floor.
Well, I'm also wondering, since Sony is a co-producer on the Tom
Mhm.
Holland Spider-Man movies, is Spider-Man 4, which had just started development.
Mhm.
Yep.
I wonder if that's the vehicle to start pulling these themes into
Well,
the grander scheme of
well,
things.
I mean, Tom Holland did say like he was like, I think it was an interview after the last movie came out, and he was like, I'm excited to be ushering in like our new Spider-Man, like our
Spider-Man
new
I mean,
live action
as we said
Spider-Man.
near the top,
So-
I mean, his movie broke it,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
broke everything, and they
Right.
mentioned that in this movie.
Yeah.
They said that guy.
It's like, don't even get me started on
Yeah.
Doctor Strange and the...
There's a fun detail on Miles' bed. There was Amazing Fantasy number 15 comic, and that was Spider-Man's initial. This is his first appearance in a comic
Aww.
ever, and that issue in particular did so well that they were like, "Oh, we've got to start this," and then that's when the Amazing Spider-Man began, the very
That's
first comic run,
Pretty cool.
and now they're like 900 issues. They're on like 930 something issues of that
my God.
specific
Wow.
comic.
Crazy.
Um,
Still doing it. When you're talking about numbers, it reminded me of one of the larger twists in the film, and I'm curious if it when it dawned on you, when the little like mechanical spider was like, sending Miles back to his like home.
Was it
And-
42 or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because I remember the conversation about the 42, and then seeing it on the computer. I was just like, I don't think you might have heard me say "uh-oh" in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Did you guys like catch that or was it like a little bit later?
No, I actually didn't, and
Yeah.
It
I think I was
surprised me.
probably thinking about something else. But
Yeah.
the thousands of other things.
Yeah,
that
right.
just
There's
was like,
so
oh
many
my
things
gosh,
you
there's
blink it if you
so
miss
much,
it.
So much.
it was a good sleight.
look
I mean,
at.
it's a good sleight of hand. I mean,
Yeah.
it's if you're not paying attention fully, but
and it's good in so many ways, because yes, they barely like even showed the little number on the computer, so if you blinked you would have definitely missed it. But also we've been taught in this film, like from the first film to this film, that like every Spider-Man is like vastly different, but now we have this one universe all of a sudden where like pretty much everything is almost identically the same, just to like one minor difference. And it was the spider that got taken out. That's pretty much the only difference. Which almost makes it sound like it's a different timeline as opposed to do you know what I'm talking about? Or saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I loved that. I thought that was very cool. Good stuff.
Speaking of other multiverse things, did y'all catch the Everything Everywhere and All at Once?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, there was
Obsessed.
a giant bagel, and it reads,
Yep.
all of it, always, all over the place.
Yes. So great.
So wonderful.
Yeah, let's see here.
I was speaking of multiverse. I find it really wonderful that there were several MCU actors voicing different characters in
Oh,
here. I mean,
yes,
Haley
yes.
Steinfeld is
Obviously,
Gwen Stacy,
Yeah.
which is Kate Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
You had Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight, as Miguel
Amazing.
O'Hara.
That guy's king.
Daniel Kaluuya
Mhm.
voiced Hobie, and then
They didn't ask me to do anything.
and then Mahershala Ali, who's playing Blade in the upcoming
oh yeah.
Blade movie.
He's in it
Yes.
too.
Yeah, he's Uncle Aaron.
Oh my god! Of course. Oh yeah. Duh. I
Yes.
knew that. I knew that.
But I mean that for your headcanon, that's kind of fun multiversal
that's so fun.
nonsense.
Yeah. Right.
Did y'all catch Craven the Hunter in
Wait.
the jail?
Yes.
One of the
Yeah.
jails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that. I
Yeah,
blinked.
that's-
I blinked.
It's really
And a Sinister Six mention.
Sinister
Yeah,
Six
um,
Cartel was
heard that.
mentioned. Donald Glover weaseled his way into another Marvel thing, which
So great.
Ern
so,
Davis.
So fun.
Which that was probably like some scenage that was cut with him. I imagine, right?
Yeah, I mean, when they say they storyboarded out a big segment of the movie, that leads me to believe they were trying to include some of the live action Spider-Man in some big action. Which you know what, that I probably agree with them, because you don't want them to be the thing you talk about when you leave the movie.
True.
You want Miles
absolutely.
to be.
You want,
Yes.
it's his movie.
And it's interesting enough. They did kind of shift a large focus of the film to Gwen, which is cool.
Yeah, that's great too.
Yeah, the whole like cold open of the movie.
Oh my god, I literally said at the end, it was like, that was the beginning?
Yeah, it was like 15-20 minute section before we got to technically
the title screen.
Title credits.
So crazy.
And I gotta give credit, I think the two best performances in the movie are Miles's parents.
They're so good.
They were awesome, and I think that
and relatable.
Yeah, I think that's why, even if you're not a big comic book person, the Spider-Man story it's
the heart
is compelling to people.
Yeah,
because
a family story.
Yeah, he has this extraordinary thing happen to him. He loves his family, and she loves her family. You know, like in every different version, in every different Earth, they all have that in common, right? It's that they love these people. They don't want them to get hurt. And what does this new thing about them, what is that going to do to their family unit? Mm-hmm. And
my God, the subtext in that. I mean, you know, there's obviously like there's metaphors.
Well, you got to see two different parental units process the same information differently.
Yeah.
Well, I won't go that far, because Miles's parents don't technically actually know, because that was the sleight of hand.
Technically, she was.
Yeah.
But
he came out to the wrong mother.
He came out to the wrong mother.
You say coming out, but I it's not. I know it's not 100% that, but I mean, like, that's why it's so universally relatable, is because you could absolutely take that for me. I'm just like, it's totally like a coming out story, and it's very sweet.
and to have, you know, even when Miles didn't come right out and tell his parents, like, his mom knows she's hiding something, and she said, you can tell me anything.
Yeah. I'm still gonna love you, even though you're gay.
I have to fix that in post.
Yeah.
Screaming.
Great.
Okay,
and he was moving the mic towards him before we started.
I was, and I did.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun. I had a fun time.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that. I mean, there were moments of that movie that truly shocked me.
Yeah, me too.
And it took me on a twisty turny road that I wasn't expecting to be that kind of shocked by it, I guess.
Yeah, I'm curious too. I want to take my nephews to see it. They're all young. They're like 11 and under. And I'm curious whether or not I should say nephews and niece. It's just too hard to say both, so I just say
it's
nephews. There's another stupid word for it, and I can't remember what it is.
So it's the non-gender specific.
It's like Neeblers or something like that.
What?
It's a really weird word.
With all due respect to everyone everywhere, I will never say
You're
that.
never going to say nibbler?
I have drawn the line. I will
nibblers?
not.
Hold on.
Is it?
It's something weird.
Get
like
over
that.
it.
Stupid.
I will not be saying
But my
it.
question being...
For my dead body.
For people out there that have younger kids...
It's a nibbler!
No.
Nibbler!
No.
A nibbling.
Nibbling.
No.
nibbling.
No. That
stupid.
sounds like a mystical creature from some stupid movie I won't
With
say.
weird
Just
ears
say
and...
your sibling's kid.
Yeah, that
nibbling
works.
is
My brother's children.
God.
There you go.
So, they're young.
Absolutely not.
To see how they'll...
How they'll like it, and and
they
how
see
much
the
they'll
first
pick
movie?
up on. Yeah, they did, and I think
Okay.
they did love it. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming they would like the second one. The second one, I feel, is a little bit dark.
It's a little darker. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a little darker, but I think they'll like it.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's fun.
It's
There's a lot of,
flashy,
like,
and
he's flying all over the
and
place.
there's funny
and-
jokes, and
Yeah.
But you know what I appreciated? Just that maybe I wouldn't have appreciated as a kid, even though I think the message is directed at kids,
Sure.
was when they're sitting in the college advisor's office,
Oh,
and the advisor's trying to create this narrative
Yes.
for Miles and his family and where he comes
Yes.
from, and his dad's a cop and his mom, like, they're doing just fine.
Yeah.
But
He's like,
this
"Oh,
idea
you're-"
we have to make a compelling narrative for you because you're from
Yeah,
some
you're
faraway
struggling.
place,
Oh.
America, Puerto Rico.
It's like Brooklyn. We live in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it's like we're definitely not struggling, but okay.
But I thought that was a fun little way to
Commentary.
make a point about labeling or trying to come to some conclusion about someone's situation based on how they look.
Yes, and why
where
do
they're
we feel
from.
like we have to do this?
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
And I thought, making Miles' dad a cop
Yeah.
is making both of their Gwen's parent, making them both cops, I think is which of course Gwen's always has been. But
Yes.
yeah, without getting too political, I think it's a very interesting.
Good commentary.
Yeah.
Something else that this movie does super duper duper well is showing off like multiple cultures too. I was so excited to see like Indian Spider World.
Mumbai.
That was fucking cool as hell.
Yeah, let me tell you a little something about that. It's
Please.
pretty
Please
cool.
and thank you.
Oh no, did I make the page go away?
Oh no!
Oh,
Now we're gonna
gosh.
just
I
have
found
to
it, I
fill
found
the
it.
space.
So, The fun thing about that version of
Yes.
Spider-Man is I found it right here.
The information's been inside
All
you
right,
the whole time.
so in 2004,
Mm.
there was a short 4-issue mini-series called Spider-Man India
Fucking cool
by
as hell.
Sharad Devarajan.
I did not know this, and I want to look it up.
And this character was heralded as the first trans creation, where
What does
instead
that
of doing
mean?
a translation of the original material for a foreign market,
Okay.
they chose to transcreate the character of Peter Parker into an Indian boy named Paviter Prabhakar,
Sweet.
who,
Sweet.
who lives in, I know, clever guys,
Yeah, very
who
clever.
lives in Mumbai, but in this version he lives in Mumbai.
Yes, Mumbai. Now, what?
So rather than creating a totally different Spider-Man,
Oh, yes.
this was the first time that they were like, he's going to be exactly Peter Parker,
Yes.
but in India.
But in India.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's that term was
I mean,
herald
yeah.
for this.
Fine, why not?
Yeah,
I'm honestly
sure.
obsessed.
So the series didn't really do amazing. There was like little fanfare. The character disappeared for a while until he gave him one of the writers, Dan Slott, gave him a leading role in the Spider-Verse comic event, which came out in 2014.
Which this
Spider-Verse.
is loosely based
Yes. Yeah. So he's got, fun. I loved his costume. His costume was
and just
so
his
cool
vibe
and-
in general, like
Yeah,
so
very-
confident in
very
himself,
fun
and
Hobie Brown, the Spider Punk.
I loved
another-
that character.
Yeah, just
Oh,
Fight the man.
I'm forgetting, and it was right near the top of the movie. Medieval Vulture.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
hilarious. But like paper mache, like
Well, and we haven't talked about Spot at all.
Right.
No.
The villain who is like this bumbling hilarious.
It's hilarious and terrifying.
and very terrifying. Yeah, because I mean, I think some of the best villains of all time have been like these, like I'm gonna prove to you.
Sure.
It's such a great origin story. It's like it seems so simple and sad, but it's very it's easy to understand. You're like, yep, I get it.
Well, and isn't that the overarching theme of the movie? Is what lengths will you go to get back the things that were taken from you?
Yeah.
and
to prove
and
something.
and are you willing to let those things go to protect other people?
Right.
And
you stole everything from me.
and it's interesting. We talked at the beginning about the death of Ben Parker,
Mhm.
or whoever the father figure is for Spider-Man, being the inciting action. It's something that's kind of immovable through time.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what that that next event is going to be, because Marvel's What If kind of demonstrated that there's no scenario where Tony Stark
Could live.
Yeah.
Right. Without breaking the universe.
or Doctor Strange losing
Christine.
losing Christine.
Yep.
Christine.
He got another one out, everybody.
I
Yeah, I love the Spot. What a weird villain to have in this.
Weird villain.
And they kept his backstory and everything very true to the comics, so people were stoked about that.
It's great.
I'm the scientist you hit in the face with a bagel.
Yeah, the bagel justification was so funny.
I'm curious
too.
too. Did you like in the comics, like, is he also like, does he end up being as
Bad.
yeah, I guess, for lack of a better term, is it just like, because he does stand to completely destroy like the entire like
Yes.
multiverse, like that's like doesn't get much worse than that potentially. I mean, at least that we know of.
Yeah. Basically, in the comics, he's a scientist working for Kingpin. Boop-a-doop.
A boop-a-doop.
He is successful at first. He summons forth a portal that wipes out New York's power grid. But when he steps into the portal, he gets sucked into a dark dimension, and that's what makes his body transform into the Spot.
Whoops.
So the whole deal is that whatever goes into one of his portals can come out of another. Visually, he's pretty silly looking.
Just like the video game Portal.
Yeah, in a 2011 Daredevil comic.
Oh.
Boop, boop, boop. They used Daredevil's radar vision to reveal what's left of this Swiss cheese man. For a long time, Spot was underutilized Spider-Man villain, which is why it's obviously exciting to see.
Yeah.
Very similar. Boop doo.
So basically, it sounds like they took this otherwise, like, very, like, kind of, like, sad, like, NBD character and made him, like, potentially one of the most scary and potentially universally damaging.
Well, there's nothing
villains
scarier
of all
than
time.
a bumbling idiot who
Yeah.
has been
That has the
imbued
power
with
of
great
the-
power.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
in some ways,
Given-
that's even scarier than somebody like Kang or Thanos, because like they're very clear-eyed in like what their specific goal is. This guy's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna prove myself.
It's like the equivalent of giving me the Infinity Gauntlet.
I would kill myself before. I would
I
live
would snap and
You
bring
would-
you back, so that you could
over
You would have
and
to
over
witness.
again.
So yeah, you would not be able to die. You'd have to witness everything.
Well, you only get one snap though.
I only get one.
Yeah,
Ah.
that'll kill you.
Well,
With all
I
due
mean,
respect,
in
that'll
my
kill you.
universe, the first thing I do is snap so that I can have more snaps.
Oh, there's always one of those guys.
Aha! Suck on that.
I
MCU.
I asked the stones to destroy the stones.
Yeah, see, if he can do that, I can fucking do the opposite.
Well, I'm looking forward
Well,
to that.
Yep.
That'll be the day.
That'll be good.
Yep.
It'll be really good.
Anything else that we need to
I mean,
add
yes,
about?
honestly,
you could
yes,
talk
but
about this forever.
for millions
we
of
say
years.
that every time. But
I'm going through the whole film in my mind.
I need to
and
watch it again.
maybe 3 more times potentially.
Maybe many times, and then maybe
Yeah.
we do have a second discussion about this because there really was so much.
It was overwhelming in a really wonderful way.
and Phil Lord, I was reading this morning.
I am Lord. Yeah.
He mentioned that Kevin Feige was super on board with including MCU imagery, and said kind of his impetus for doing that was, the rising tide lifts all boats,
Mhm.
and it's like I think it could really help your film and also
Yes.
help kind of clear up some
Thank
confusion
God
in
they're
ours.
talking to
And I was
each
like,
other.
that's
Thank God
It's
for
very
that.
good. It's very good.
They do
the hurdles they were jumping through before the partnership began. Just
Yeah.
what we can and can't say. It's like what they were doing with Fox and Mutants.
Yep.
It's like we
Yep.
can't even use the word.
Just think of like what we like might have not had
Yeah.
they just not seen eye to eye,
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm very, very glad for that.
Me too.
Yeah. The show is just really, really,
Yeah.
really dope. And like, where do we feel like what's the rest of the story to be told? Because it feels like I'm just thinking beyond the Spider-Verse. First of all, the title Beyond this, like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Across the spider, I mean that makes a total sense for what this movie was, because we were kind of just going all around it. And
Well, does
all
Beyond
about
the Spider-Verse mean they exit said Spider-Verse and end up
in the
somewhere
MCU. Interesting. Whoa, that would be quite the if all of a sudden we're just now into live action. Like, is that kind of what you mean?
Or
I don't know
even
if
if you
it's
go into
that,
like
or
what
if
if
it's just-
territory, you know.
yeah.
Do you guys remember that one episode of The Simpsons? I think it was a Halloween episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like Homer Simpson was like going through a different dimension. I think he goes through like anyway. The very end of the episode, he ends up in live action all of a sudden, and he's like
God.
he's looking at all these like real people, and he's like in 3D. He's like,
I mean, they
So
had
scary.
they already incorporated a little bit and obviously had grander designs for that. So I mean, yeah, maybe.
Could be. I mean, maybe even like halfway through the movie, he is plummeted into like live action.
Oh
Or yeah,
my
what if that
gosh.
is the live action introduction of Miles Morales?
People would
lose their mind.
effing mind.
They'd lose
that
their
would
mind.
be very sick.
That would be great.
That would I mean the title would make all the sense. I am curious though, like what story is there left to tell? We obviously are gonna defeat the Spot potentially.
And Miles is trapped in
He's trapped in Earth 42
with
right now,
himself
with
as the
himself
Prowler.
as Miles Prowler.
Right.
So
is it seeing is it seeing him, because it looks like he's already trying to like break him, like, you know, like, come on, you know, you want to be good, and like, you know, is it gonna be that story of like trying to bring him to the
partially
to
that,
light?
and then Gwen and the Spider
and
Gang
that
trying to
the
find
new,
him.
Spider Gang.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's interesting. So who out there knows which number the Spot? I think is the only person who knows what's maybe. Well, I mean,
What spider bit him?
Miguel might
assumedly
know.
the computer.
I bet Miguel knows.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that would be like the only
Because he said he was
Yeah.
like that whole monologue was like Spider 42 bit you. It was not supposed to.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that's maybe like the only plot hole, I think, is that they're like, oh, we're gonna like go to where like it's like. I'm assuming the computer that sent him home, like they must have like, you know, a browser history,
Or they split
say,
up
like,
and
where
just
they
start
went.
trying to.
They're just going to all the different Earths
The
to
different
try to.
Earths. Yeah, but I mean, like, why not just go to the one that, like, you know, is in the browser history, or the fact that,
Yeah.
like, you know, like.
But all of them that are currently looking for Miles, like,
Yeah.
who knows if they can get back into Spider-Verse right now because of Miguel.
Sure, because
Like,
Miguel is just
they've all gone
preventing
rogue.
them. Sure.
So I don't know.
So it's going to be a matter of so like Gwen and her group is going to be like going against
Mhm.
the Miguel, right? And they're
Yeah.
going to try to like infiltrate and get his
Yeah.
technology so that then they can go and
Maybe.
maybe.
Possibilities
So yeah, I guess there's lots
are
of
literally endless.
stories.
Do
It
we
sounds-
know?
it sounds like we're
do
gonna
we
have,
know
like-
when this movie is coming out?
Next year.
Beyond next
yeah,
year.
no,
Okay.
yeah.
all
Thank
right.
God. Thank
Wow.
God.
Okay,
yeah.
we're not gonna have to wait that
Allegedly March of next year.
long. Oh, all right.
If
So-
there hadn't been a pandemic, we wouldn't have waited this
It's
long.
true.
That is
It's
also true. I
And hopefully things get cleared up with all the strikes.
Oh,
my
God.
the writer's strike. It
It's not
sounds
gonna
like
be
this one
anything.
is already pretty much in it. I mean, like, especially if it's coming out next year, I think that most of it's probably already been like.
Well, the thing with animation is
What, Dina?
Well, there are less less random changes.
This is true.
I
Yeah.
mean, you know better than I do, but on a film set, they'll rewrite a monologue between
it's,
takes.
It's a lot.
I mean,
It's a lot more work to change things in animation
Yeah.
in post, because then you have to.
It's
pay
got to
a
be what it's
bazillion-
going to be.
Bazillion other animators and
Right.
art people, and then the voice actors have to go back and they have to pay them again, which they don't
Mhm.
like to do.
Yeah, nobody likes to.
now,
play
if
voice
SAG
actors,
strikes, then perhaps we have a problem.
Well,
which
they
they're
just
thinking
voted,
about,
They
No, they got the
voted-
authorization.
They voted
Yeah.
to authorize one.
Led by
so-
Fran Drescher,
it's
Come
gonna
on,
be
Fran!
right.
Come on, the nanny!
I think it's going to be a
the nanny's revenge.
it might be a rough fall winter for the entertainment or for the consumers.
Well, I think you're gonna feel. I
Potentially.
don't think you're gonna feel it now. I think you're gonna feel it next year. because
really?
all of the
Not
stuff,
until, like,
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff that's coming out this year, that's already in post-production. And
sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
but really anything like say middle of 2024.
Yeah, because you're right. Stuff in the fall is like already in the can now. Summertime.
But
That
anything
makes
you're
sense.
shooting that's
They're just
coming
doing all
out
the final
next
stuff.
summer, yikes.
Oh boy. So yeah, the Beyond the Spider-Verse sounds like it's going to be cuckoo crazy. We're gonna have like it's I think very similar to like Return of the King. We're gonna have like 3 timelines or not 3
And 8
different
endings.
stories that are
Yeah.
happening at the same time that kind of converge.
That tracks. You've got the Spider-Verse people, you've got Gwen and her gang, and then Miles trying to finagle and get through Earth 42.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna be dope.
can't wait. And also Miles' family, wondering where he is.
I know.
I know. I knew
know.
that speech that she was given. I was like,
Well-
you gotta promise me that you come back and
Well,
you give
Gwen,
me
she knows where his Earth is, so
Yes.
hopefully she can get back there to
Yeah.
tell the parents.
Oh, there's so much I loved. Like they gave it such a perfect breath to the dad's like speech where he's just like, and I'm always gonna be here for you, like beat, because like, oh, you did that on purpose. That's so sad. It's great. It's good
Well,
stuff.
Well, that was
Spider-Verse.
That was some
Across
of
the
our
Spider-Verse.
thoughts on Spider-Verse.
Just some of them.
And we hope that you went and saw that movie and that you liked it too.
Chime in your thoughts.
You definitely
Yeah.
need to share your thoughts,
Yeah,
otherwise we
sharing.
won't know. them.
Instagram it at
Sharing
Inside the
is
Tauntaun.
caring.
And
Yeah.
every time you comment,
We've got some fun stuff coming up. Obviously, we've got Indiana Jones,
Secret
Oh my
Invasion.
God, yes.
Secret Invasion. We've got the Flash movie, which I'm hoping
Oh,
that we
which-
want to
God.
cover.
I have a suspicion is exactly what we just watched.
It's going to be a
Yeah. It's gonna
crazy
be cuckoo
cacophony of all the
bananas.
things.
No,
Flashpoint.
but I'm talking about down to plot. It's going to be the exact same movie.
Oh, really?
That is my prediction. I do think it's the exact same movie.
That's funny.
It's gonna be close for sure because Flashpoint in the comics breaks everything.
Well, yeah, and he's
So-
going back in time to save his mom. And,
It is going to be the
Which
exact
is
same
kind of
film.
what Flash does every day, but
Yes,
we'll
right.
forgive him.
Well,
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been touted
Pl-
by our, what's his face, James Gunn as the best superhero film of all time.
it's not.
Did he say that?
It's not.
Yeah.
That is a tall order.
All right,
But,
James Gunn.
He's a smart guy.
He is
He
a
is,
smart guy.
and he
He's
makes
made
good
amazing
movies.
things.
It's going to be a good movie. I don't
I
think it'll
do
be the best
respect
movie
Well, he
ever.
wasn't involved either,
Right.
No,
I
no.
do respect his opinion, though.
I
So
do.
Oh, sure.
I'm not sure if it's going
but
to
it's
be
not.
the best of all time. But what if it was? Holy shit.
Well, then that
Well, then great.
DC will have
they
they
finally
done
would've
did
something
it.
unthinkable.
They would've
Yeah. I don't know. Everybody still says that The Dark Knight is.
I
still-
don't. Well, you're right. That is technically DC. What I meant was everything that came after those.
that.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
That was Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
We can't. Yeah,
correct.
exactly. That was Chris.
Do we do an Oppenheimer episode?
Ooh,
my God.
that'd be
I
fun.
mean-
And we're Atom Bomb fans.
You-
Oh, jeez.
Oh man.
I am excited to see that movie.
We're
I am very
Oppenheimer
excited.
fans.
Yes. Oh my god.
All right.
Lots of
Well,
stuff to do.
thanks so much for listening.
Yeah.
Hope you're all hanging in there and having an okay time in your lives.
Thank you, Alyssa.
What
you know.
up? It's good.
This is Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
And I'm Dino Nicandros.
May the force be with you.
Always.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast. Please like and subscribe.